Hey up everyone, welcome to the History of Football channel. Today I'll be doing another Forgotten Football Grounds as part of my Forgotten Football Grounds series. I've done quite a few videos on this subject, go check out the playlist. But tonight, the ground that I'll be doing is the former home ground of Wycombe Wanderers, Loakes Park. Wycombe Wanderers were founded at a meeting held at the Steam Engine Public House in Station Road, High Wycombe in 1887 by a group of young chair factory workers, hence the nickname of the club, the Chair Boys. The club initially played friendly matches on common land known as the Rye, before moving to a ground at Spring Meadow in 1893. In 1895, after Spring Meadow was sold in order to make way for a new railway line, the club agreed the rental of an open ground at Loakes Park with Lord Carrington, owner of the surrounding estate. The ground was located next to Wycombe General Hospital in the centre of the town, and the first match there took place on the 7th of September 1895, with Wycombe's first ever game in the FA Cup against Park Grove. In 1897, the club began work on levelling what was a stony sloping pitch, and while this was being done, they played at first at near Wycombe Abbey Park, then a ground at Dawes Hill Park, before returning to their home after 2 years it took to complete the work. Even then, there was still a slope to the ground at over 11 feet. In 1896, the club joined the Southern League and competed in the second division until 1908, when they decided to pursue amateur instead of professional football and joined the Great Western Suburban League. Meanwhile, the first stand to be built at the ground had been constructed in the 1903-1904 season with seats for 400 spectators. The club moved to the Spartan League in 1919, and after winning the championship 2 years in a row, they moved to the Isthmian League in 1921. A new wooden main stand with around 1,000 seats was opened in 1923 along the south side of the ground at a cost of £1,500, but the two ends of the ground would remain as open terracing for the rest of their history at Loakes Park. In 1931, Wycombe Wanderers defeated Hayes 1-0 in the final of the FA Amateur Cup at Arsenal's Highbury Stadium. The proceeds of this partly funded the covering of the shallow terracing opposite the main stand at their ground at Loakes Park, which was affectionately known as the bottom stand, owing to the way that the ground sloped downwards. It was also affectionately known as the cowshed. In 1947, a significant event occurred when former player Frank Adams, who had captained the club to its 2 championship victories in the Spartan League and who had now become a successful businessman, bought Loakes Park from Lord Carrington and donated it to the club. In 1975, one of the most famous matches in Wycombe Wanderers history happened at Loakes Park in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. At the time, their opponent Middlesbrough were near the top of the old First Division, which is now known as the Premier League, and Wycombe were a non-league team at this time. Wycombe held Middlesbrough to a 0-0 draw at Loakes Park, and the game was watched in front of nearly 12,000 people. It was around this time in the 1970s that Wycombe General Hospital had first announced plans to expand on the land that was occupied by Loakes Park. A compulsory purchase order had been placed on the ground in the 1980s. However, Wycombe Wanderers had difficulty in obtaining planning permission for a new location at no less than 14 sites. However, the initial rejection of a proposed ground at the end of Hillbottom Road in the Sands district of High Wycombe was overturned by the Home Secretary, and Wycombe Wanderers were able to begin work on the new ground in 1989. This was largely funded by the proceeds from the sale of Loakes Park to developers for £3.25 million, and the new ground was named Adams Park in honour of the club's benefactor Frank Adams. The last league game at Loakes Park saw a 2-1 win against Stafford Rangers on the 3rd of May 1990, while the last game of all was a friendly match against an all-star 11, including George Best, on the 7th of May 1990, in front of an attendance of almost 4,000 people. The club moved to the new Adams Park in time for the start of the 1990-91 season, and 3 years later, under Martin O'Neill, were promoted to the Football League. The site of Loakes Park was redeveloped, partly as extra car parking for the nearby hospital and partly as new housing, with the only remaining part of the structure being the gates, which were transferred to the new stadium. The record attendance for a Wycombe Wanderers match at Loakes Park was 15,850 for an FA Amateur Cup fourth round tie on Saturday the 25th of February 1950, when Wycombe Wanderers beat St Albans City 4-1. It remains to this day the highest attendance for a Wycombe Wanderers home fixture. So that concludes my video on Loakes Park, the former home ground of Wycombe Wanderers, for over 95 years of their history. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if you've been to this ground. Unfortunately, with a lot of grounds, especially with Wycombe Wanderers, because they were in the non-league for a long time, there's not really much information on this ground, and I couldn't really find as much as I have for other stadiums or grounds in the past. But if you have been in this ground, or you are a Wycombe Wanderers supporter, then you can freely add information and add some statistics and all that type of stuff as well. I've got no issue with that. But once again, I'd like to thank everyone that's recently joined the channel and everyone that's been supporting the channel from the beginning. It's really much appreciated, and I like to read your comments and I like to read what you see about the videos, so I just want to thank you for that. So anyways, this has been History of Football, and I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.